Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to church. We're happy to see you this morning. We're going to start ourselves off with a few announcements before we go into the rest of service. We have quite a few things going on. Yeah. All right. So first thing is our 400th Chuncheon, New Jersey Prayer Night Vigil is going to be on January 23rd. So we're hoping to have 400 members. Everyone's invited. Please come, show up to this awesome, I don't know, we've been doing this for such a long time, 400, amazing, amazing achievements. Next one. On January 24th, and also other dates that are to be determined, there's going to be an online course called Safe Conversations. This is something Auntie Barbara, Pastor Barbara, really recommends for everybody to be able to come and participate in. So it's all about transforming your relationships, learning to speak to each other and communicate, and have these awesome, safe conversations that can help build bonds between you, your family, your friends, and just in general, learn how to communicate. It's a really important skill. Next. All right. Coming up, we have Chumbo. Chumbo is going to be on February 7th. They're going to have it here at Clifton Family Church. And then there's going to be Zoom satellite location and Belvedere. So here's the main location. We're going to have Chumbo on the 4th, 11th, 18th, and 25th. They're doing, I don't know what those dates are for. Okay. Paperwork dates. So after church, every Sunday, if you need help with paperwork, if you need help with getting ready for Chumbo, they're going to be in the conference room helping out with paperwork. That's every single Sunday leading up to that day. All right. Then we have another announcement, which is not quite there yet. Run by Matoba. Matoba, you all know her. She's up here doing music all the time. She's also going to run a Hyojung Creative Night starting on Friday, the January 30th. She's going to be creating this event or a night where she says, Hyojung Creative Nights is a faith-rooted, open-hearted art, poetry, and storytelling gathering, bringing people together. So she wants to welcome all people to be able to come and learn to create. She says it's a sacred creative space where artists, musicians, youth, and first-timers can explore creativity with freedom and heart. So just come to collaborate, to learn how to do something new, to share some of your artwork or songs or anything like that creative. If you like to do those kind of things and you want to build a community, we're going to have them here Friday, January 30th at 6 p.m. And we're going to keep sharing this announcement so that you can remember, and it's on the e-news. But that was going to be a really awesome night for everybody. All right, and then we have a few national announcements. So that's what that video was. We actually bought a next-gen property. Let's go, finally. And so this is Denthu and Nobu. They're going to show us around. And they also have a donation link at the end if you want to help support. So pull out your cameras, get ready to scan the QR code, and let them show you around the property.
They're like they're all identical wings, and in the center is a bathroom area. Pretty cool. Wow, there's clotheslines. That means people could hang their underwear and dry it.
Time you have to say,
What?
dude, this is a chance. That could be your name. This dorm could be named after you. Just put that out there.
So when you're standing here, you can hear a little bit of the noise from the highway. It's kind of like white noise all the time.
Someone say it's God's whispering. Someone say.
We got 4 showers.
So, you see this? Imagine
$500,000.
gym. Do you see the gym? I see the gym. Just boom, gym.
Chuncheon
You know what I'm saying?
Water, wherever you go. Some would say pure water. Wherever you may go. Look at this. Bang.
Yeah, it didn't work. They turned off water. And you know what this stands for? Look at this. This is Lodge D. Some would say that means D for Denthu. Some would say, well, hey, if you work together as a community, this lodge could be named after your community. I'm just putting that out there. Could be kind of sick. field, the volleyball court on volleyball court. I see it. And that's what's going to be built right here. As far as the eye can see, nothing but sports.
All right. Yeah, having a property is so important. Since we lost UTS, there's kind of not really been a location for youth to have their workshops, to be able to come together, to have their sports fest. We've always been scrambling around looking for places. So now that we have an actual property, we've bought it, and it's ours, we can create it into whatever we want. And that's such a blessing, I think, for the next gen of our movement altogether. And Denthu already has so many plans. He wants to have he wants to hold like big workshops for all the youth of the country. He wants to hold leadership programs there. He wants to do all these things. So if you have it in you to donate and you have something you can offer, it would really, really mean a lot. All right, and our final announcement before we go into our songs is that actually next week we're going to have a national Sunday service from Reverend Dunkley. So he's going to be in the New Yorker, and we're not quite sure yet if he's asking everyone to come or not, but right now there's a plan for it to be satellite streamed here. But yeah, that's going to be important national news, and Reverend Dunkley's coming to speak to all of us, so don't miss it next week. All right, so our band is already here. We'd like to welcome up the New Jersey Family Band. Everyone can rise and let's sing a few songs.
Chase away the past, far away beyond the land and sea. Till forgot that you hear me when I call? Is it true that you are thinking of me? That you love me? It's amazing. It's amazing. I am a friend of God.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, guys. It's really awesome to see you all singing or hear you a little bit, you know? It's really amazing. I feel like the crowd is finally getting music. Anyway, you know, we're all friends of God, but I hope we're all also friends with each other. So now we're going to go into our meet and greet, so you can meet your friends, say hi, everybody you haven't seen for a week, and we'll come back in a few minutes. All right, it seems like everyone's basically done greeting each other. So right now I want to just dismiss Sunday school. You guys can all go to your classrooms. I hope you know where they are. Yes. And meanwhile, we're going to welcome up Pastor Barbara to do her appreciation for a member.
Good morning. Well, today we're going to appreciate Mia Warden. Is Mia Warden here today? Mia, she might be in the kitchen. Oh, there she. Well, come on up. We're just doing the appreciation, so we don't need the. There we go. Thank you. This is Mia Warden. Who here knows her? Okay. So I'd like to take a moment to recognize you for your incredible heart and service. I heard since 2024, Mia has been the central point for the Holy Day offering tables, taking on the sacred task of preparing our true parents' meal. Anyone who knows her knows how much she truly loves cooking, and she has an exceptional gift for seasoning, a talent that brings a special quality to every offering. Mia's dedication covers every single detail. She supports the process from the very beginning to the very end. From the shopping and preparations all the way through to the cleanup, she handles even the smallest task with the meticulous care and a standard of excellence. But above all, what defines Mie, service is her spirit. No matter the task, she is always full of smiles. Her joy is a constant presence in the kitchen and in our community and is a gift to us. So Mie, in appreciation for your skill, your hard work, and your radiant heart, we would like to present you with this appreciation pin.
Wow. I didn't even know how much work I've never seen it, but I don't know how much work goes into that. So I really appreciate people who just behind the scenes do all of these things that we just think, oh wow, offering table appeared. And actually it takes hours and hours of preparation and work. Amazing. All right, we'd like to invite up our band once again to do the offering song.
Good morning. So this song, Omema is Igbo from the southwestern Nigeria region. And it refers to many things, God's goodness, and it's used as a refrain many times to express love and gratitude to Heavenly Parent. And so Tamami suggested that we do this song, but it's really fun. And so we want to also sort of teach you as we go, very easy words. And the only, I guess, word that you may not have heard of is Omema, but everything else is good. So please enjoy the song with us. And if you feel the need to dance, get up and dance, because it's one of those songs. Yeah. Yeah, stand up. I know he loves me. I know he cares. Whenever I call, he always is right there. In times of trouble, he is my help. Yeah, I know no fear. I know he'll be right there. And he really does what he says he will do. My God really moves on. Why would I doubt when he always comes through? My God really moves on. Let's do the first verse one more time. Really moves on. First verse. I know he loves me. I know he cares. Whenever I call, I know he'll be right there. In times of trouble, he is my help. Yeah, I know no fear. I know he'll be right there. He really does what he says he will do. My God really moves on. Why would I doubt when he always comes through? My God really moves on. And now we're gonna go into the bridge. Really moves on. And it goes like this. Oh, Mama, you're always on time. You can't do no wrong. Oh, Mama, you leave the 99 always for the one. Oh, Mama, you're always on time. You can't do no wrong. Oh, Mama, you leave the 99 always for the one. Oh, Mama, you're always on time. You can't do no wrong. Oh, Mama, you leave the 99 always for the one. Oh, Mama, you're always on time.
you leave the 99 always for the one.
Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending love
So
of
glad
God.
you leave the 99 always for the one.
Always thinking of me, always thinking of
So
me.
glad you leave the 99 always for the one.
Thank you, God, for always loving me through.
Chorus. He really does what he says he will do. My God really moves. Oh, what would I do when he always comes through? My God really moves. Oh, he really does what he says he will do. My God really moves. Oh, what would I do when he always comes through? My God really moves. Oh, he really does what he says he will do. My God really moves. Oh, what would I do when he always comes through? My God really moves. He really does what he says he will do. My God really moves.
What would I do when he always comes through?
One more time, just the audience.
Hey, he really does what he says he will do. My God really moves. Hey, what would I do when he always comes through? My God really moves. Hey, he really does what he says he will do. My God really moves. Hey, what would I do when he always comes through? My God really moves.
Thank you. Thank you. Please join me in prayer. Our most beloved Heavenly Parent, true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, we're so grateful for all of the love and support. For all the love and support for our brothers and sisters who are able to join us here and also watch from our live stream. God, we come here every Sunday to worship and to praise and to fellowship with you, Heavenly Parent, and with our brothers and sisters. And I pray that your love and your peace and your heart and your warmth can be felt by everybody who is watching the live stream, everyone who is here in person, everyone who touches your energy and your spirit today. I feel a joyous spirit in you, Heavenly Parent. Even though there are difficulties, we still have to celebrate the victories, the small wins that are created, that are won by our brothers and sisters all around the world. The little things, the little steps that we're taking to make our lives better, to improve our communities, to bring awareness, to continue the fight that we have going on. God, you are so good all the time. So good to each and every single one of us, including those of us who may make mistakes, who may go down a path that isn't the ideal, or who may make a decision that you probably don't agree with. You still continue to love us and to cherish us. And so, Heavenly Parent, I really pray going forward in this week that we can start owning these victories, as small as they may be and as big as they may be. We start living in joy and happiness. And so with that, I report this prayer in deep gratitude in attendance to our Holy Mother Han. In my name, Matoba Sukihara of a bus couple, Aju.
Thank you, New Jersey Band. Good morning. Just a couple housekeeping things. Remember, we talked about noticing a few months ago, and my appreciation jar is empty. So I need you guys to do some more noticing, so I have some people to appreciate. So who here can think they can fill out a little piece of paper and appreciate someone and put it in the jar today? Okay? And December, we We only met twice in December, and many people will go to the New Yorker next week. So I'm just offering you the invitation to catch up on your tithing, because sometimes that happens. Anyway, tithing is not about New Jersey. Tithing is about our God blessing everything we have, right? So just how much of what we have do we want God to bless? All of it, right? So, yeah. Okay. So this morning, I'm just going to call out that my second son, Ryan's over there. Yeah. So, yeah. So this morning's topic is the lab of love when grace gets gritty, the holy work of noticing. And so last week we looked at, putting away our calculator, our what do you deserve calculator, and deciding that we would show up as love instead, right? That's what we talked about last week. And we all left here really inspired, right? I was inspired. And then Monday happened. Oh, yeah. Monday happened, and Tuesday happened too. And, to be honest with you, I didn't really find myself showing up as love. I kind of found myself in some kind of lab of love, like some kind of experiment gone awry. Yeah, my messy lab report. And, I think that when we think about showing up as love, and if I was going to give myself a report card from this week, when people show up as kindness to me or show up as gentleness to me, I'm 100% going to match that. I mean, okay, 90%, okay, right? I'm pretty good. I'm going to show up with love people who are showing up to love to me. And then people who are neutral, I'm going to get a pretty good grade. I'm going to get a pretty good grade of showing up as love as people who, they show up as neutral, right? If somebody shows up as unkind or rude or a little sharp, well, I didn't get a very good grade this week. So I just want to put that out there. So I didn't really feel like my first thought was not, oh, I want to show up as love. My first thought was like, I can't do it. Like, I can't do it, to be honest. I can't do it. And the best I've got is to ignore the rudeness or the unkindness. That's the best I got. So you could count that as a failure, but I don't really think that God thinks of that as a spiritual failure. And what I want to suggest is actually it's the beginning of wisdom, that even true mother, who carries the weight of the world, right, has said this honestly. I must confess, even though I feel that I have to be strong, determined, and constantly moving forward, it is sometimes inevitable that I feel rather weak, sentimental, and emotional. And that is the truth of the matter. Well, that's pretty relatable right there. No matter how much we feel that we must be strong, that we must be kind, that we must be loving, there are times when we rather feel not like that. So if mother has these, feeble moments, then that means when you're in that space of I can't, just because you can't doesn't mean it's like a sin. It doesn't mean like you're a failure. It's an invitation. Because humility isn't about putting ourselves down, thinking the worst of ourselves, thinking we're no good. Humility is about being honest about our geography. When we admit, I am at my limit, we stop defending our ego and we start opening the door for God. And it is through that crack of I can't that God's I am finally finds a way in. Yeah. So I think that when we see our limitations, right, then we know where we need to grow. We know we have an opportunity to say, okay, God, help me with this point. But if we never admit our limitation, then what we do is we tend to blame other people. If something goes wrong, it could possibly be me. It's certainly Eva's fault. Sorry, Eva. She knows I love her. So in the lab, right, you do an experiment, and it doesn't go as planned. But scientists don't consider that, a failure. They don't get depressed, right? When they're they might. If they've done the experiment over and over again, they might feel a little. But they take notes, right? Because, we mixed compound A with compound B, and we didn't get this drug that we wanted. We got this mess, right? So then what did we do wrong? And we need to add a little more of this and a little less of that, right? It's called data. So we have an opportunity when we reach our limitation, has anyone else had the experience where your day, you know what you should do, but emotionally you're at I can't? Anyone else? Yeah, right? We get to that place where I should show up as love, but I'm really tired, right? And that is really triggering me, right? Whatever it is, right? Some of it, whatever it is. We all have our stuff, right? So that data that we learn when we reach our limitation, that's this week's lab report. So that gap, that implementation gap, the gap between what we should be and what we are, what we want and what we actually do. Yeah, it's a painful place, actually, that gap between our ideal and our reactions. But in that moment, we're doing the holy work of noticing, right? We're noticing that we're not where we want to be. And that kind of awareness, that makes a space for God to move, right? We don't have the immediate answer, and that's the other thing. You show up against a wall, whatever the problem is, you don't actually have the answer. How am I going to show up as love in this situation, which today I couldn't show up as love as? We don't have the answer. But who has the answer? God has the answer. And then when we humbly ask God, okay, I can't, I need you, then we enter that desperate place that opens our heart to allow God to show up, for us to see him and hear him and feel him. When we're honest about where we are, we stop blaming other people for our reactions. We stop saying, I'm only angry because of what you did. When we take the responsibility for the data, we become porous to God. We become open to God. We realize that while we might not be able to change the other person, we can offer our own I can't to Heavenly Parent. So we often think of spiritual growth as a ladder we have to climb, and we might fall down that ladder sometimes. But I think it's maybe more beneficial to think of it as a season. That, many moons ago when I was doing mission with the church, we would have, of course, incredibly long days of fundraising, right? And some of those days were great days. Some of those were full of energy and connection. But there were other days, there were tough days, right? Who here went fundraising? right? Yeah, there were good days, and there were a lot of messy days, right? It's inevitable, right? And you felt like, maybe I can't even get out of the van today, And your team captain's like, get out of the van, right? So I received some of the best advice I ever got, many decades ago, from Mark Turner. Somehow I still remember his name, but I can't remember the AV guy's name. Okay. He saw me struggling. He said, look, if you have 10, then give 10. And if you have 2, then give 2. In other words, don't beat yourself up for not having 10 on 2 days. On days that are a 2-day, don't beat yourself up because you're not giving 10. But don't give up either. Don't crawl up under the blanket and give 0. Give the 2. There are seasons of righteous anger and seasons of deep sorrow, and none of these are unspiritual. On the days when your energy is high, give that 100%. But on the days when your energy is low, give that 2% or 10%. It's just as much a victory of the Spirit than those 100 days. In fact, maybe it's more. Because it's easy to give when you're inspired and connected and, surrounded by good people. But how about giving when you're at a 2-day? When you're at a 2-day and you say good morning, that might just be worth great gold in heaven, right? When you empty the dishwasher on the day when you only have 1, well, that's a lot, isn't it? God doesn't ask us for the percentage. He's asking us for our presence exactly as we are. So, on the days you go to the Chungshengwan and you feel God's presence and you're in tears and you're having this amazing spiritual experience, well, that's beautiful. That's 100%. But on the days when you don't want to get out of bed and you still drag yourself out of bed and you say, good morning, Heavenly Parent, and that's all you've got, that's a victory. Because remember, I always like to say that we all deserve all the gentleness in the world. Yes, all deserve. You're always listening to me, Bruce. So the grid of suffering. True Mother teaches us that suffering without purpose has no value, but doing so for God's will is more precious than any amount of gold. So how can we reimagine the purpose and offering? I like the quote of mothers here, but I feel also you have to be careful because in the middle of a hard season, we often search for the why. Why am I suffering? Why am I having a hard time? Why does the situation seem so intractable? Behind our pain, we want to know why, but in reality, we mostly don't get to know why in the moment, right? And I somehow think if we know why, it would hurt less. I don't know, maybe that's true, it would. The why usually remains hidden. The purpose doesn't have to be a secret code we crack. Instead, the purpose can be the simple act of offering. We can say, Heavenly Parent, I don't know why this is happening, and I don't see the gold in it yet. But I offer the struggle to you anyway. Even if we can't understand why we suffer, the act of offering it up is precious. It is a way of saying that even our limitations belong to God. Right? Even our limitations belong to God. And last week we spoke about true parents, in spiritually walking Hawaii, walking the walls at Jericho. And, because it doesn't happen automatically that we get to where we want to go. We don't automatically drop our resentment. We don't automatically show up as love. We don't automatically overcome our shortcomings. And so true parents in walking and praying around Hawaii showed us that it's a process to forgive, right? So how do we keep going when the walls of our resentment are high? We use that Jericho strategy. We walk the walls. We walk and pray around our resentments until the walls fall down. Sometimes we talk about faith as if it's, all sweet and beautiful and loving, as if it's just a nice sentiment. But the essence of love actually is sacrifice. It's actually, getting up to get the dog out of the crate because nobody else is going to do it. Right? That's it, and sometimes that sacrifice isn't a sacrifice of money or time. It's sacrificing our need to be the winner of an argument. Sometimes it's sacrificing being right. Love isn't a performance we put on for an audience. It's a quiet sacrifice of laying down our need to be right so that someone else can be seen. Walking the walls looks like noticing. Oh, I'm feeling angry, and I want to be sharp. When I notice that, then the chances of me being sharp just went down a significant degree, right? When I notice how I'm feeling in response to a situation, I get a little control. And maybe I can't show up as love, but I cannot make the situation worse, right? I can close my mouth. I can say, I love you, dear, but I'm not going to talk to you right now, right? Right? So, honesty. I only have 10% today. Heavenly Parent, I can't do the big love feelings, but I can choose not to be a mirror of unkindness. Right? When we notice, then we have choices. We can show up honestly in front of God. And then we can act. We act out our love, no matter how small the act is. If you only have 2% to give that 2% to a moment of silence instead of a sharp insult or barb. Showing up as love isn't a feeling you wait for. It's a walk you take. Some days you walk with a skip, and some days you drag your feet. But as long as you're walking, you're winning, right? So, our Heavenly Parent, thank you for the gritty moments of this week. Thank you for the times we reached our limitations, because those were the moments that reminded us that we cannot do this alone, that we do not do this without you, that we need you. Help us celebrate the small victories, the 2% days, and the 10% wins. Help us hold our integrity and offer you our I can't and you can. Maybe we keep walking our Jericho walls with humility, knowing that every honest step brings us closer to your heart. Thank you. Reflection question today. Thinking back over the week, was there a moment where you only had that 10% to give? And how did you choose to show up with your 2? And can you allow yourself to see that as a victory? Let's go 6 minutes.
Thank you, everybody, for sharing. Let's end our conversations, bring our attention back up here. I think for me personally, this one was really impactful, especially that one quote, like if you have 10%, give, or if you have 10, give 10, but if you only have 2, give the 2. And I think it's really important because it allows you to not be stuck in a place of beating yourself up or thinking, oh, I'm not good enough, or I haven't given enough, or oh, I should be like this, should be like that, and you get focused on like all this negativity about yourself instead of thinking about, okay, what do I have? What can I give? And if you just think about, okay, maybe I don't have the 10, but I have the 2, and you're kind to yourself, then when you give that 2, it turns out a lot more than you thought it was. And then from that positivity, from that giving, I think you can also fill yourself back up and even bring that 2 to a 3 to a 4 and, continue on. So it's all about how we treat ourselves. And I think Pastor Barbara is really good at reminding us of that. All right. So, giving, perfect transition. We are going to go into our tithing song. So if you guys can stand up, and we're welcoming our band, and you guys can come offer your offerings to the front.
Sailing with our Father. Traveling as hard, wishing for a new day to come. When the sun rises in the morning, we'll set sail and move on, and we'll be sailing with our Father. You know His ship will never sway. Oh no, on the horizon. Look out with joy in your eyes. The winds of truth will guide our way. Leaving behind the raging sea. On waves of love we'll sail away. And we'll be sailing with our Father. Mothers too. You know His ship will never sway. Oh, new on the horizon, we found the promised land today. Darkness it always turns to light. The promised land is inside. He is our guiding star by night, and in the day our bright sunlight. And we'll be sailing with our Father. You know His ship will never sway. Oh, new on the horizon, we found the promised land today, and we'll be sailing with our Father. You know His ship will never sway. Oh, new hope on the horizon. We found the promised land today. And we'll be sailing with our Father. You know His ship will never sway. Oh, new hope on the horizon. We found the promised land today. We found the promised land today. We found the promised land today. All right, so we have a new closing song. Every quarter we'll be changing our closing song in hopes to get familiarity with
new songs, but also to usher in a more steady spirit with our music. So this song is called No Fear by John Reddick. When I listened to this song, I thought of True Mother, and I'm sure when you hear it, you'll think of True Mother as well, but also yourselves relating to our sermon today. So enjoy. I got enemies on every side. It ain't looking good, I ain't gonna lie. Arrows flying, devils trying to make me think I'm going down this time. You might think that I'd be afraid, running scared with a shaking faith. But the God I know says it ain't over. The God I know is gonna make a way. Yeah, though I walk through the valley, I will have no fear, no fear. The mighty power of Jesus is fighting for me here. No fear, no fear. The light of the world makes the darkness disappear. No fear. Not over my life, not over my life, not over my life. No fear. Not over my life, not over my life, not over my life. No fear when I'm walking through the fire, 'cause I know who's walking me through. No fear when the flood waters rise, if I got my eyes on you. No fear, no fear. The mighty power of Jesus is fighting for me. No fear, no fear. The light of the world makes the darkness disappear. No fear. Not over my life, not over my life, not over my life. No fear. Not over my life, not over my life, not over my life. Not over my family, not over my future, not over my life. God's over my life, not over my battles, not over my struggles, not over my life. God's over my life, not over my family, not over my future, not over my life. God's over my life, not over my battles, not over my struggles, not over my life. God's over my life. Yeah, though I walk through the valley, I will have no fear, no fear. The mighty power of Jesus is fighting for me. No fear, no fear. The light of the world makes the darkness disappear. No fear. Not over my life, not over my life, not over my life. No fear. Not over my life, not over my life, not over my life. No fear. Not over my life, not over my life, not over my life. No fear. Not over my life, not over my life, not over my life.
All right, thank you everybody for being here this Sunday. You can go have lunch downstairs. If you're new here, if you'd like to just say hi to Pastor Barbara, please come up to the front. And with that, have a wonderful week. Thank you, everybody.